I'm a single woman living in shared accommodation in London. Like many low-paid workers in London, private e-scooters offer a cost-effective, efficient and not polluting way to travel to and from work.
It's estimated that over 750,000 people here in the UK use privately owned electric scooters on public roads. Well, our government, they're not having it. The law either couldn't or wouldn't keep up with the changing times. Police crackdowns took hold and unsuspecting commuters were stopped, fined and e-scooters seized. People like Kyla.
They gave me a fine, £300 and 6 points on my licence.
This harsh punishment felt unjust and disproportionate. So in July 2021, a grassroots campaign was launched, the E-Scooter Defence Fund, to challenge the legality of riders' prosecutions with the help from BSB solicitors.
So we've been in the strategy phase. So we've been talking to solicitors, meeting solicitors, barristers, trying to figure out the best approach to hopefully challenge the law as it is now. This is about consensus, it's about us all pulling on the road. All stakeholders, all people using PLEVs, now's the time.
In as little as 1 month, the target fund was hit and £11,000 was raised. Between August and now, the legal team has been exploring every avenue possible to understand what exactly it is they can do to take the fight forward. In October, Kyla had her day in court and read her mitigation statement. The purpose of mitigation is to persuade the court to pass the most lenient sentence possible.
In terms of the fine, they ran it right down. Obviously the money's not really the point, but I think it was a signal from the court that actually this is obviously wrong.
So today, we've come to BSB solicitors in Holborn, London to find out what's the latest. Could you just quickly run us through what avenues you've explored since raising that 11K?
I mean, the two main vulnerabilities that we identified were riding on pavements and cycle paths. Is that considered to be riding on the road? Because obviously if you're being prosecuted for not having insurance on a public road, then if you can prove, well, actually I'm not riding on the road, I'm riding on the pavement, then that would be a big deal. However,
essentially you can't ride these vehicles in public, and that's the problem. On a road, on a cycle path, that's a public place.
The next vulnerability we thought, well, is it actually a motor vehicle? Can an e-scooter with the same performance envelope as a bicycle be considered in the same breath as an SUV or a transit or a truck? Now, the sensible answer is no, obviously that's ridiculous, but unfortunately in law it's considered to be a powered transporter and therefore a motor vehicle. The other thing we discovered is that there's little kind of clauses in the Road Traffic Act which allows the Secretary of State to do what the hell he or she likes. So if the Secretary of State deems it to be a powered transporter, ipso facto, it is a powered transporter and a motor vehicle. And also, if the Secretary of State decides that said powered transporter, because it's owned by big corporations who hire it out to you, is legal, then they've got the ability to do that too.
So as a retailer, you aren't able to lease out your own electric scooters for people to use, and you can't get public liability for that?
No, as part of a hire scheme, we wouldn't be able to do that. We thought that we could use the same regulation that enabled, say, the Limes of this world to put scooters out there to do something similar to private customers. But unfortunately, private scooters are deemed illegal. They're not legal to use on the road because they haven't been
licensed by local authorities. So the Limes are tendered with the local authorities for the contract to provide, and then we're told that they are examined and certified as suitable for use within those boroughs.
So that was another dead end. Then I got excited because I thought, well, hang on a minute, surely this isn't in the public interest. How can this be in the public interest to stop someone commuting to work on a light electric vehicle? However, because it's an enforceable offence, then the CPS is obligated to prosecute. I think it's something like that, isn't it?
Well, that's right. So if someone is prosecuted for an enforceable offence, they won't drop it in the public interest because they need to take the points on the licence.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down to the unfairness. I mean, like, I guess that argument is you're penalising the people with not a lot of cash, because you're forcing them down a path where they're spending a hell of a lot of money on the sort of the rental schemes, when it would have been a hell of a lot cheaper if they went out and bought a low-cost commuter scooter. The unfairness, which obviously isn't a legal argument. You can't go into court and go, excuse me, judge, this is totally unfair, because they go, well, it doesn't matter, you broke the law. However, when it comes to a judicial review, you could make the case and you could say, look, this law's not fit for purpose, the punishment doesn't fit the crime, it's disproportionate, you're penalising this section of society, this section of society, this section of society. There is an argument to say this is penalising the very people in society that we're supposed to be trying to help and protect.
All those avenues seem to lead to a bit of a dead end, but Mark & Co have a plan. They're going to draft up an impact report.
The big part of this is going to be case studies. So we're going to take sections of society that have been impacted detrimentally by government policy, effectively since the start of COVID, and write up their case studies and to show exactly what government policy's done to these people. There are going to be sections that lays out the environmental argument, which is going to be backed by stats. We're going to explore accidents and perhaps how that could have been affected if regulation was in place. That's sort of the nasty grayer end of the sort of imports that are coming in and how we could have protected people against that. So it's going to be a wide-ranging report.
This impact report will then be released and given to broadcast media for a PR offensive.
Really important to say that even if you're a normal guy, or sort of male or female, who was using an e-scooter to get to work and they thought, you know what, I'm not going to risk points on my licence, I'm going to jump back in my car and are now driving. I'm one of these, actually. We want to hear from you guys. Because, I mean, that's the crux of our argument. Effectively, you're forcing people back into their cars. Seriously, if you've got a story, we'd like to hear it, because we could use all the help we can get right now.
If you've been affected by the e-scooter crackdowns, Mark and Jonathan are keen to hear from you. Get in touch by emailing mark@personalelectrictransport.co.uk. We'll continue to follow the team as the impact report develops, so make sure to subscribe as we bring you all the updates. If you'd like to pledge some money to the team, follow the link in the description below. Don't forget to like this video, and thanks for watching.